Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to HSCS 2112W. It's hard to believe we're already into week 3, which is pretty far in for an 8-week course. This week, we're going to start to focus our attention to how to develop your writing in different ways. So in this session, as it's called, Illustration, Definition, and Classification, Synthesizing Sources, you'll be looking at the literature and starting to uh, collect the literature that you will be using in your paper that you'll be developing for the latter part of the semester. So there's some tips here about this part down in the Blackboard here that tell you, give you some outline to follow when it comes to developing paragraphs that ultimately are going to be part of your essay. You'll have a chance this week to do some of this work because you'll be working on your article summary, and you can apply some of these tips to that writing assignment that's due this week. There are a list of other things to do this week, which I have sent you already through your checklist. I encourage you all to look at that checklist. It's really an easy way to know if you've done everything for the week. This week is a little heavier than last week, so I highly encourage you to be sure you're starting earlier than later in the course, in the week, excuse me, to make sure that you are uh, getting everything done by Sunday. So there's a number of items here that will require you to both write and also review other people's work. There'll be another grammar quiz and another reflective journal entry. At any point, if you're finding yourself a little confused or a little overwhelmed, whatever the case, please reach out to me and we can set up a time to talk or maybe clarify questions you have through email. And I, again, encourage everyone to be sure that they use the Ask the Prof thread if it's something that will affect everyone in the class. If your question is something everyone in the class should know the answer to, please utilize that. And I get back to those questions pretty quickly, actually. I just want to make a couple comments. These are housekeeping issues. One, I want to remind you that you look over the rubrics always associated with an assignment. Also, with the discussion boards, I won't give credit for the discussion board until I see that you've reached out and have spoken to the entries of other students. So this past week, for instance, you were asked to post something and then respond to at least 3 other students. So if you have not responded, that's why you have not received credit for that. And I want to just remind everyone that most of the time in the discussion boards, we're asking you to respond to other people. And this is so that you get to be a little more critical and constructive of other people's work, but also are introduced to work that they're doing that will help you actually in the long run understand how you might be organizing your work, et cetera. The second point I want to make, which is really very important, is when you are gathering literature for any sort of scholarly writing, like this course is training you to be able to do, you want to make sure that most all of your resources are coming from peer-reviewed journals. I've had students in the past take a lot of things just from, you know, internet searches and websites. Oftentimes, in fact, most of the time, websites, even if they're from an association or a federal agency or something like that, really are not peer reviewed. So peer reviewed literature is literature that you're going to find through search engines like the library, Himmelfarb or Gelman, and are going to be brought to articles in journals. And those journals, 99% of the time, are going to be peer reviewed. So that is most appropriate when we write in the health professions or any other discipline for that matter. That the bulk of your resources that you're using to prove your point are actually coming from peer-reviewed journals and not websites. And that if you find yourself, wanting to, say, cite a website that's from an association, that's related to your topic, that's fine, but it really should be like once in a paper and not 10 times in a paper. The bulk of your literature should be from peer-reviewed journals. Okay. Again, I put the checklist up here, and of course, in session 3. Oops, sorry about that. Here we go. In session 3, the overview is spelled out. Your checklist is there, your learning objectives, reading assignments. And like I said, there's a good amount to do this week. So I really recommend you get started as soon as possible. And I will be giving you feedback by tomorrow on your assignments that you delivered last night. And again, if you're one of the people that have not received a grade for your discussion board yet, it's because I'm waiting for you to respond to others in the class. And again, you'll find that most of the time that's going to be a requirement in for discussion. So again, have a great week. I look forward to seeing your work, and looking forward to see how we start to make that first leap into how to look at literature, how to extrapolate from the literature what's important to our thesis topic, and start to build what will be a writing product for this class. All right, I look forward to seeing you online, and have a great week. Bye-bye.